Hi, and welcome to segment 3 of our three-part series on the multi-generation Dynasty Trust. I'm your host, Attorney Michael Potter. How you doing? In this segment, we're going to look more closely at how the Dynasty Trust can operate in conjunction with other types of planning, such as corporations, limited liability companies, limited partnerships, retirement plans, etc. I think you'll really enjoy it. Now, if you've attended one of my workshops around the country, you're probably already familiar with a concept that I like to refer to as layers on the onion. And the reason I use that analogy is that if you think of an onion and you peel back that outer layer, what happens? Well, two things. One, you notice there's another layer, and you also begin to experience a small chemical reaction. By the time you peel off that next layer, there are still more layers underneath there, and the chemical reaction has begun to affect you. You start blinking and your eyes water. You just want to get rid of it as soon as you can. And that's where the concept of layering can be so effective because it puts distance and trouble between you and your adversary. Let's talk about those layers for just a moment, okay? Now, if you are a real estate investor or you are a business owner or entrepreneur, the outer layer for you would be your corporation or your limited liability company, because that is the entity through which you do business with the general public. Now, the second layer would be the control layer. This is typically going to be a limited partnership, or better yet, the advanced version, the limited liability limited partnership. This is a entity that owns the underlying corporations or limited liability companies, and it allows you to have control at a distance without direct ownership. So even if you are the officer of the outer corporation or limited liability company, you're not the owner. The owner is the triple LP, the limited liability limited partnership. Now, in turn, the limited liability limited partnership, or triple LP, can be held by two limited partners. One of them would typically be your revocable living trust estate plan, and the other one would be either the wealth preservation trust, which we talk about elsewhere, or the multi-generation dynasty trust. Either one can satisfy that requirement of having more than one partner and having it set up so as to maximize the legal protection that you have from creditors, lawsuits, estate taxes, and divorce. You've probably heard the asset protection mantra, own nothing and control everything. And that's a very powerful statement when you think about it, because it puts distance, legal distance, between you and the adversary, with the filters being the layers, the outer layer of your corporation or limited liability company, the middle layer of your triple LP, and then the inner layer of the Dynasty Trust, working in conjunction as the majority limited partner along with your revocable living trust. Having those two trusts as the limited partners gives the dispersion that you want and gives you a powerful degree of estate planning, lawsuit protection, divorce planning, and estate tax relief. Now, in this graphic, you see this laid out, where the limited partnership is a pivot point, a control point, if you will. It owns underneath it the corporations and limited liability companies, and it has a managing general partner, which might be another entity. But it's got two powerful limited partners. One of them, the minority limited partner, is your revocable living trust for basic estate planning, but it's not the majority holder. The majority partner is the Dynasty Trust, as you can see in this graphic, and it allows you a powerful degree of protection and distance so that you own nothing but control everything. Finally, let's look at that inner layer, the multi-generation Dynasty Trust. We've already seen that the outer layer is your corporation or limited liability company. We've seen that the pivot point or control layer is your triple LP, the limited liability limited partnership. And then your inner layer is a combination of two trusts. The living trust, which is a basic estate plan, and is the minority limited partner. And then you've got the multi-generation Dynasty Trust, which is the majority limited partner. That way you've got the optimum mix of entities working together for your protection and for that of your loved ones down for generations. Now let's talk about how the Dynasty Trust can do two or three things that really give it great leverage for your family for many generations. Let's say that you have the Dynasty Trust as the majority limited partner of your triple LP. And underneath that triple LP are your corporations and LLCs. That's very powerful. The profits can flow up, and the Dynasty Trust can also own life insurance on you, the grantors or founders of the trust, and then on the next generation, and the next generation, and the next generation, and so on. As you can see from the graphic, as these policies mature and pay off, they are tax-free, and they can be used to pay off mortgages on income properties, to put into an endowment, to encourage your family just like the Nobel Prize, and give them incentives and rewards for making the world a better place. And it can be used to fund policies on the next generation, also payable to the Dynasty Trust, to keep that level of involvement going. And as you can see, it goes on for generations yet to come. So the Dynasty Trust is an extremely powerful device, and I hope you'll consider it as part of your estate planning. Well, as usual, I've given you a lot to think about, and I'm sure you may have some questions. If you do, either myself or my staff will be glad to speak with you and arrange a time for a consultation. I'm attorney Michael Potter, and I look forward to hearing from you.